Well, hello, and welcome to ZBrush Live. This is Kermaco, hard surface and character design. And yeah, so you're here and watching, so welcome. So let's kind of quickly do the thing where you let me know that you can hear me okay and see my screen in the chat, so I know that you are seeing what I'm doing. And yeah, so it takes a couple of minutes while that's going on. Definitely, if you are watching this and you like it, drop a like. It really helps us out. It costs you nothing. It takes a second, a microsecond of your time, so do it. And then also, if you like what you see, subscribe. I come on every other Friday night, but there's a lot of other streamers on the channel as well. And if you have a question, you can ask it live. And if you are watching this after the fact on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, you can always leave your questions in the comments, and I will get back to you. Okay. All right. So with that said, let's. And somebody said you can hear me and see me okay, so that's always good news. So let's get going. All right. So here we go. We're still working on this mech, and I am still trying to figure a few things out. Today I'm going to try and finalize the general shape of the body, which is this one. Right, move tool, let's brush size bigger. Okay, so I kind of, last time I wanted to put the guns in this way, and that's working out for me, but I don't know if I like the overall shape of how this is coming together, so I might make some changes here. And basically making changes to this middle part. The guns I probably will work on a little bit more, but for now I kind of want to shift the focus back to the mech itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and insert an edge loop over here like so. And then I think maybe an edge loop this way. I'm using ZModeler for this. Okay, is the audio level okay? I kind of see the needles, but they're not bouncing up as much as they usually do, so I'm wondering if everything's cool. Right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and QMesh. this inwards like that. And one more time. Right. And go to these set of guns, move them up just a little bit to maybe about here. And maybe go to this one and move this up, this as well. So the nice thing about QMesh is you can just tap once and it will go the same distance it went before. However, in this case, it's not working out because it doesn't attach it over to here. So I'm just going to draw out this way to make the attachment. QMesh still continues to be one of the super useful modeling tools that no other software besides ZBrush has. So what is my smooth? Oh, how did my smooth become the Retopo brush? That's wild. Okay, let's go to smooth. All right. I was trying something out and I think it just stayed that way, but easily fixable. You just hold shift and pick the brush you want. So here, I want to move this down. So here I want to move this down, but I want it not to go inwards. So I'm just going to use the Z modeler and slide option and just slide these polygons downwards. Oops, slide this one forward, something like that. Okay, so this is looking a little bit more like I want it to. Let's see if I can just go. I'm going to hide the guns for a second, and I'm going to see if I can push this inlet more. I think that's as much as it'll go there. How about this one? All right, I mean, it's okay, I guess. Now the problem is when I bring the guns back, at least the top ones, the bottom ones are fine. They're good. They are perfectly positioned, so I'm happy about that. I want this to be more straight here. And yeah, I just want to remind everybody that you can ask questions, and it's encouraged. It keeps the kind of the dialogue going. And so if you have any questions about what I'm doing, or just in general any ZBrush questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you. That is part of why I do this, besides the fact that I really enjoy spending time working on my own personal projects like I get to do here. And so if I don't schedule this, I probably will do something else. So this kind of encourages me to do my own personal projects when I have other projects that I'm working on, although nowadays work is kind of slow, but hopefully that will pick up at some point. I don't know if it's the summer or what's going on, but everybody I talk to in the industry tells me it's not AI, but so I don't think that's the issue. I think it's just companies aren't doing well, and my personal opinion on that is that they're not doing well because they're not taking the risks they used to take, and they aren't really investing in people. They're investing in assets, and I don't know. Am I freestyling it? I am using reference, yes, but I am basically freestyling it, yes. So I am looking at certain things, but nothing is driving the design. The design is still 100% developing as I go. And I like working this way because it's a different way to work. I mean, in most pipelines, usually what happens is that the design gets done in 2D and then somebody is supposed to translate it to 3D. And I think that's just wasted time. I think, you know, it's just as easy to design in 3D, and it will save production time. And I kind of like to work this way as well. I should mention that. But yeah, no, I am definitely, this is going to be my own design. It's not going to be building on something that's already there. Right, so here what I'm doing is just moving these out, but I want them to be straight. Okay, so that's the top ones are kind of taken care of. Now I got to do, I mean the bottom ones, and now I got to worry about the top ones. Oh, no, this is not what I wanted, but this is okay. All right, so now with these guys, I probably need to move them up a little bit further. Some reason Hasbro Mattel have an AI division in partnership with AI companies. I've seen other companies also adding AI to their workflow. Yeah, I mean, you know, toy companies definitely. I mean, I don't know. You know, when people say something like that, it could mean a lot of different things. You know, AI is like a big umbrella. So, you know, what exactly are they, you know, doing in AI? If they are designing the next G.I. Joe with AI, is that what they're doing? Are they using AI to, yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to know like what it is that they are using AI for. They could be using AI for accounting, or they could be wanting to seem with the times and say, we are using AI, but, you know, I mean, I know a lot of friends of mine whose companies are forcing them to use AI, and they give them the tools and they don't know what they're doing, so it's not really useful. And then I also know some other friends of mine that are working at companies where, you know, the AI usage is just so much that it's costing more than actually doing the work manually. So I don't know. It's interesting times, and you know, I keep up with the tools, I keep up with the technology. You know, I was looking at Comfy UI the other day and looking at all the different options, but you know, I have to kind of know what's going on for sure. But so far, I think I don't think it's going to add much to what I do just yet, but who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, this is kind of the process is I start really simple, and once it starts kind of coming together, and, you know, I mean, the good news about these streams is that I rarely get a chance to work offline. I mean, if it's something really cool, sometimes I just kind of get the urge to work on it some more. But right now, I'm also working on a couple of other things, so I always leave this just to this stream, and so you guys can see the exact evolution of this thing from the beginning. Still using ZBrush 2022. Okay, yeah, great. I mean, yeah, you know, ZBrush 22 is awesome. And if you don't want to deal with the subscription and you don't really need any of the new stuff that's in there, I get it. But unfortunately, for most of you, they're adding so many good things that at some point, you know, you have to decide whether you want to. I mean, I still have 2022 on my machine, don't get me wrong. And I do tend to use it because a lot of my clients still want files in that format. But you know, there's plenty of new stuff that's been added that might be compelling enough for you to upgrade. I mean, it's kind of, you know, I understand the reason why a lot of people don't want to subscribe to anything. I get it. I get it really well. And that's why I try to, whatever some software, whatever software I use, if there is a perpetual license option, I tend to go in that direction. Proof in point with Painter, the recent version that connects with ZBrush, which is super useful. I can get it on Steam instead of subscribing, even though subscribing gets me access to their material library and this, that, and the other, but I don't find it compelling enough to do that, so I just bought the Steam version. All right, so here I'm trying to get this part to go away, but see, it's not, and I can't come to it from the top or from this angle. So what I need to do is delete these polys over here. Let me turn double on so we can see the inside. And then I'm just going to use the bridge tool to bridge this over. So I'm just going to turn symmetry off for a second and go in here, bridge this side. Oops. Bridge this to this. Okay, why aren't you doing it? Okay, there's one, there's two. And then I need to add an edge loop in the middle. So insert single edge loop and on half, which is the coolest thing ever done. That's one of the things that's like, for example, not in 2022. And so whenever I'm using 2022, I go to that and I want to use it. I just can't because it's not in there. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, the Retopo brush is not in there as well. There's a lot of things that I wish were in 2022, but they're not, and I don't think they're ever going to be. So yeah, I'm kind of, you know, happier when I use the turn symmetry back on. I'm happier when I use the kind of the subscription version. And honestly, I mean, if you just get ZBrush, it's worth it. You know, it's not that much. It's not as ridiculous as some other software. It's worth the subscription price. It's just, I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to not know that, you know, you have a perpetual ownership of something when that's been the case before. All right, so I'm going to do some other topological stuff here. I'm just going to delete these two polys because this thin one over here is just going to cause problems later on. And this is an easy enough thing to fix with bridge as well. Bridge. And I hope you guys can see everything okay here. I'll turn the fill on. I don't know if this makes life better or worse. You guys let me know in the chat. Is it better with the polygroup colors on, or is it better when it's just monochrome? And I'll show you how that's done too, because it helps me out a lot, especially with the Retopo brush. Okay, so I kind of like this type of look more. Maybe not this much down. What are some of my favorite mech designs in movies? Oh my gosh, there's so much. You know, most everybody says Gundams, and I mean, I like Gundams, don't get me wrong. You know, they're awesome, especially some of them are amazing. I went to Japan to see the Gundam at Odaiba, and the mechanical articulated one they had in where was it? Oh, look at this. The mirroring didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, I love the Gundam designs, but not every Gundam design is a good design. And also to me, a Gundam is like a man in a suit. So the proportions and everything are very much like a human kind of in a suit. But even though there's a pilot and he sits, I think either in the head or I think in the chest. So Gundams are nice, but definitely not my favorite. I like the mechs from Pat Labor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show. It's a Japanese anime. I like the mechs there. I like because they look like they're machines, right? And I don't like mechs that are like people but bigger. I like mechs that are machines that are, and that's my personal preference. I like mechs that are kind of, you know, machines that are you know are built to you know just like a tractor or something like that. That's kind of the mechs that I like are more that are machines and not human kind of form. And so that's that. And then I also like Evangelion or I don't know if it's Evangelion or Evangelion. Evangelion robots are pretty neat looking, although they are more human. And I'm just going to do this monochrome for now because the polygroups don't really matter for me in this. Okay, there's a weird thing going on over here where these are not attached, or there's a really thin strip of topology in there, so I need to figure out what's going on. Okay, so yeah, I mean, those are kind of some of my favorite ones. Let's see what else. I like the BattleTech universe mechs. I think those are neat. You know, like if you've played Mech Warrior or one of those games, you're familiar with those. Those are nice. What else? What's going on over here? It's going inside. Yeah, look at all this mess inside. That's not good. All right, so I think this part over here, I need to do some repairs. Let's see, what other mechs? There's so many. There's so many that I like. There are artists that make amazing mechs too that are, you know, lesser known. Whenever I go to Japan, I always am on the lookout for something new. Sadly, there's more mechs I don't like than ones that I do. There's so many that I just kind of cringe when I see them. It's just like, oh. But luckily, there's enough good ones to kind of counterbalance it. But yeah, if you haven't seen the Pat Labor robots, they're pretty neat. I even like the, I mean, even though they're also humanoids, I like the Macross mechs. The robots in Macross are pretty neat as well. What am I forgetting? Yeah, this thin strip here is just kind of messing me up, so it's got to go. Which is fine. I mean, this is just a minor thing that I got to fix. This way. And then I just need to stitch these points. Ed 209, yeah, Ed 209 is cool. I think the one in RoboCop 2 is cooler. But yeah, Ed 209 is really neat. Classic. And that is a machine. That's not humanoid, so I like it even more. So yeah, Ed 209 is definitely one of my favorites. I'm just going to solo this out just to kind of get a better bearing on what's going on here. Do I need this poly? I do need that poly. Okay, what about this one over here? I don't need that one for sure. Okay. But yeah. Oh, you know what else I like? And this is completely off the charts or off the books, so to speak. And not too many people know about it, but you know, I don't want to generalize, but people do know about it. Is the and it's funny because there really isn't a movie or anything like that on this, but there are kind of fictional stories that are in comic books and whatnot. But the hang on. But the Machine Krieger mechs are really, really neat. I love those. Like, there's something magical about them. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to me like that's a really interesting world, and I want to know what's going on in that world. And the designs are kind of World War II-ish, but they're not. You know, they're kind of analog. They're not fully like, you know, modern and angular. They're kind of rounded and whatnot. Like, so if there were some mechs in World War II, that's what they would look like. And that's kind of, those are ones that I think are really well designed. And they have them as plastic model kits. I mean, that's kind of their claim to fame, is the kits. And the good news is they used to be very hard to get, but now I think Hasegawa or some company bought them, so they're more readily available. You know what kind of is disappointing to me is that whoa, what the hell happened there? That was interesting. Okay. All right, something funky is going on with this. Let me just do a check. No, it's good. Okay. But yeah, yeah, I should look at that. I didn't even know that they were still making the Pat Labor kits, but yeah. don't know why this is not bridging. Bridge demu. Nope, doesn't want to bridge. Is there anything hidden? Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay. You know, it's funny. Every time you think there's something wrong with ZBrush, it's usually the user. All right, how am I going to resolve this? I think this will be a bridge. Yeah, I'll check out that Pat Labor kit, see if it's any cool. I have so many kits that I haven't built. I've got like at least 10 kits that I haven't built. The other mechs that I like are the ones from Kojima, the ones in Metal Gear Solid and whatnot. Like they, you know, really did good work on the mechs. So yeah, you can add that to the bunch. I mean, yeah, Yoji Shinkawa is just a machine in designing cool mechs. So nothing but respect for his work. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but because there's so many, and I've got so many great books on the subject. So. All right, so this is the kind of stuff where, you know, you just have to make the thing work. So this is more like polygonal modeling if you would do it in, like, let's say Blender or Maya. But I like doing it in ZBrush because in addition to doing the kind of the modeling like this, I can also do the sculpting as well. So, I mean, to me, this is a sculptable piece. It just has very few vertex points. And I like to keep it like this, nice and light, just because it's easy to kind of make bold design choices early in the process. You weren't a fan of the RoboCop movie, the second one? I mean, the third one was really bad, but the second one wasn't bad. I mean, what a way to just completely mess up a great franchise, though. I mean, the RoboCop franchise was so good. The first one was like very kind of unique. Second one, I mean, it was unique as well, but not as. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I think they could have done a better job. And then the new one, oh my God, like what the hell were they thinking with that one? When they did try to do a reboot, it's like sometimes just don't reboot something, just leave it the way it is. I mean, I was watching Highlander the other day, and I remember that movie was such a big deal when I first saw it. And I mean, it's just so ridiculous now. But I still would rather they keep it like a ridiculous movie that I can watch than to create a new one with, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know, though. I take that back. They should make whatever they want. I don't want to stop artists from or movie makers from doing whatever they want to do. I mean, you know, my choice is not to watch it, but they can definitely make it, and they should make it, and they should make mistakes because that's how they learn. All right, there's still some funky stuff going on over here. I don't know what it is. What is going on? Oh, there's just like polygon here that just needs to go away. All right, that was it. I think we're good now. See, like this is the kind of the thing where I can just basically go to a press D and it goes to smooth mode, and I can see like, okay, will this thing look cooler smooth, or will it look cooler kind of angular? I'm sticking with angular for now, but that might change. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally completely went off on a tangent, and what you were saying is exactly what I was saying, is that the 2014 one was kind of weak, and I agree with you. There were some cool robot designs in there, but I didn't really like the way RoboCop looked, even though it was designed by a really cool an awesome designer. Vitaly Bulgarov, I think, designed it, and he's the man is a legend. So I don't want to knock that, but I think that design could have been better. Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, that's true. The Fly from the 80s was good. And here's the other thing too. Like there could be people who saw the original one and said they didn't like the new one. They liked the old one better. I mean, that's very, very possible, right? But yeah, The Fly was really good. That was a good movie. Jeff Goldblum. Oh, yeah, it was so sad. Like, that's a movie you watch and you're like, you want things to work out and like for him to be able to come back, but it's like, no, he's not coming back. And the funny thing is that that movie is kind of based on Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis. I don't know if you guys have read that, but I'm surprised that nobody's kind of made a movie of that. But it would be a short film. Like it would be, it would be a cool thing to have in a series of short movies, and like Love, Death, and Robots kind of thing where it would be like just short stories redone. Right here, I'm shooting for different options. I think that, do I have bridge still on? I do. Yeah, that's kind of a dangerous thing to have on. With ZModeler, I find that if you are not doing a certain task, if you are able to just say, say do nothing for that, like if you aren't really manipulating polygons or faces, then turn that to do nothing because it will interrupt you less. Okay, so I'm trying to get this thing to basically, see if I can just select that point. Oh, not that way. Like this, and I need to bring that right below here. But yeah, The Fly was really good. It's a movie I should watch again. I haven't watched it for a long time. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like Twilight Zone kind of a thing. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that hasn't really taken off. Because Love, Death, and Robots did well, I think. And then there was the one that Amazon did, which is kind of a similar thing. And the game one, which was really, really good. And then I'm sure that there are other companies that will do it. So like, yeah, like a short form, and then you can farm that out, right? I mean, and that kind of fits into the whole AI world too. Like, some companies could use AI to make their shorts. And I just got an idea. But yeah, they could basically make little short movies, and so here I'm using Control-Shift-X, which basically makes my selection bigger, and this is a really important one, and a lot of ZBrush users might not know about it, but especially if you're a beginner, but it's a really good one to know, which is Control-Shift-S makes your selection smaller, and X grows it out. Okay. And see, here's another thing too. Like, I don't really like this thing going inwards over here, right? Like this area. So I can just use smooth to just smooth it out and then move it to kind of accommodate the shape I want. Okay. All right, I think for the most part, I'm happy with this, I guess. Or no, I think not. I think I'm going to do some more, turn transparency off. I want to extend the back a little bit further. So I'm going to Q mesh backwards. Oh yeah, I definitely do. Right? Like, you know, I mean, I probably will Dynamesh this at some point and then start working on it. I definitely do. Absolutely. I think that's another big, powerful way to work is using Dynamesh. So here I basically use the Alt key to just make a temporary selection. And then when I Q-mesh, all that goes out. Now, the thing about this that I don't like is Q-mesh kind of grows it out. And I don't want it to grow out. I just want it to go straight backwards. So what I'm going to do here, and I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to go ahead and mask this. So mask, where are you? Mask. And then that again will just mask that part, and then I press W. And now I'm going to put this in the center of that. If I'll control down, yeah, see, this is the way to do it if you don't want that growing, right? So what I basically did is I just selected the polygons, and then I'm holding down Control, and that basically just adds, you know, I can keep doing it, right? It just adds spans to it. So here we go. This is a cool, you know, here I'll bring it up. This is a cool Kermaco power tip right here. And yeah, so you can just kind of grow it that way, right? So again, all I did was just select the polygons and then use Control and drag out. And that basically just makes a copy of that and moves it out. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing one more time. Yeah, it would be cool if there was a setting in Extrude and Q-mesh to do that. I agree with you. Right, and now I'm just gonna, oops, I don't want to mask anymore. I want to Q-mesh these down, just create kind of a back area for this. And again, whenever I'm making these things, I think of, okay, is this going to be, are people going to be in here? And the answer is yes. And they're probably going to be somewhere in this area right here. So this, oops, this area is probably going to be a cockpit, or, you know, they're going to be sitting in there somewhere, either close to the surface or probably more inwards. So if they are, then I need to make room in the back for things for them. Oh. That's why I extruded those two, because they were selected. Whenever you do the Alt select, it just works with those polygons, right? So here I'm just kind of growing this out. I'm going to press Control W here just to get one polygroup, because I don't really need different polygroups for this yet. Slide these points down. I want this back to be a little bit chunkier, but I kind of like this going in part. So I don't know how I'm going to resolve that. I'll have to figure it out. All right, so see here, as I'm doing this, I'm destroying that middle line. And that middle line is really critical. I do want it, so I can always mask that so it doesn't affect it. And I can grow this out this way. I'm trying to see if this would look better. You know, yes, so Avatar, definitely very cool hard surface design in there, and that's work by Fausto Di Martini, I think. And he's an amazing artist, amazing mech artist. He has some really, really cool mech designs. And so, yeah, he did all the kind of the, you know, the walking mechs that they have in there, which I'm not really that big of a fan of, but they're pretty cool. Like I can't knock it. I mean, for that kind of a thing, I think they definitely did nail it, the design for where a person needs to sit inside of it and like be carrying big guns. The guns are really beautiful in that too, like machine guns and whatnot. So a lot of that's Foster's work, and he kills it. He's really good. And I think he designs in 3D as well. He doesn't, I mean, I'm sure everybody who's good at doing 3D, like really, really good at doing 3D, is probably decent at 2D as well. Ooh, what happened down here? When did this mess happen? Oh. Okay, so when I did this, like, somehow this happened here. Can I fix it? Yep. All right, so again, just by smoothing it, that's kind of gotten fixed. Right, so I'm just going to Q-mesh some more over here, create more of that back area. Control W again, and I don't really know if I want this to be this way, so I'm going to try and see if I can get it filled just by using Q-mesh. It's going to be a tough one. Nope. So again, I'm just using the Shift key just to smooth it out. I mean, right now the topology is driving my design a little bit, so that's when if I start feeling too much like it's encroaching on the design, that's when I dynamesh and start, doing just some, hardcore sculpting. I would love to work on avatar stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff for it, I don't think they're designing much anymore. I think they have everything designed for all of the movies they're going to make. Also, I don't even know if the movies are going to be made. That's a big question too, because they're very expensive to make. The Avatar movies are super, super expensive to make. Which seems odd because it seems to me like if they've done all the design work, it shouldn't be expensive to make anymore, because they have the same assets. They're not making a new Neytiri every time they make a movie. So they already have the model done. So it's just a matter of doing the motion capture and animation. Same thing with a lot of the weapons and stuff. They, have the suits, they have the guns, they have all the stuff done. They're not going to redo it. So I think that franchise is kind of, like the design part of it is mostly done. I'm sure there'll be new things that they would need to do, but every interview I've seen with Ben Proctor and Dylan Cole, they're the only two people kind of left on the team, and if there's anything that needs to be done, they do it. So most of the other people are kind of no longer employed by. I mean, they might be asked to come in for consult, for a specific thing, but I don't think, anybody's on the payroll still. All right, so I'm kind of liking this, and I'm kind of not liking certain aspects of it. I'm not liking this area, so here I'm just going to go to, again, just a move brush. I'm going to let this autosave. I'm surprised I didn't do it before now, but it's good. That's a very good point, Comics Legend. I remember when everybody's like, oh, 3D is the way to go, 3D movies, that's going to bring theaters back, this, that, and the other. And I didn't really think that that would be the case. Just because, I mean, Avatar lends itself to that, but a lot of movies don't. Like, I mean, it's just like, how many times are you going to see the big arrow, like, just kind of coming towards you like this, as 3D, and the same tropes they used over and over again, and it wasn't really, it wasn't really adding to the story. Avatar was really beautiful, and it was kind of, a showcase, so they spent a lot of money and time getting it to look like that. But most of the other movies didn't really. I don't think any 3D movie besides Avatar really made that big of an impact. I would still go see them, and also it depends if a movie was shot in 3D or if it was just post-processed to be in 3D. So real 3D, I don't really care for. But if it is a, like if Avatar, I would definitely go see that in 3D in IMAX. Like IMAX 3D would be the way to see Avatar. if you're not seeing it that way, you're not really getting the sense of what it's about. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, just like, they were saying AI is going to take over everything. They were saying all movies are going to be 3D, and that never really happened. So now nobody talks about it. Same thing with NFTs, So people get excited about something, they hype it up, and then, reality always brings them back to the ground, I guess. But I did like watching the, movies that were done well in 3D. But yeah, unless it does something to this to add to the story, I think it's just, it's just a gimmick. Like there's got to be a clear distinction of somebody who sees something in 3D and if they see it in 2D. Like there should be there should be a capability or something that the other people will, the ones that don't see it in 3D will miss out on. And also, I think the TVs were kind of hot funky. Like you're not going to put a pair of glasses, 3D glasses at home to sit down on the couch and watch a movie. It's just you're just not going to do it. That's why I'm kind of skeptical of all the VR stuff too. Like I think, I mean AR stuff. I think that all these meta glasses and all this other stuff that's coming out, it's just like a solution to a problem nobody has. So. Hey, my kiss, my keys. All right, so this is kind of coming along. So let's move on to the other sections. Let's see what we can do with the legs here. Again, really simple design here. I just need to kind of get this to work out. So basically, the way these mechs work is they rotate, right? So this top part rotates around this axis. So again, it's kind of good to know, but it also rotates up and down. So I need to give it room to rotate up and down. So this needs to move further back. And by the way, when I'm doing this, I'm just using the clip brush, and they're great to just kind of get geometry to where you want it to go. All right, so another thing to do here is to separate out these two pieces. So I'm just going to select these guys right here, like so, and split the hidden parts, and let's turn double on. And I want to close this, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the close function. And so the close, another thing that would be nice to have, which I'll mention to the good folks at Maxon, is when you close like this, it'll be nice to have the option that if you can do a quad close, that you would. So I'm just going to delete this edge. Whoa. I don't want to delete the edge loop. I just want to delete the edge. Okay. That was still not deleting. Okay, so that closes it out. I didn't have symmetry on, so I do have symmetry on, but it didn't do it. Mirror and weld, no. What is going on with this? Why is it off to the side like that? Okay. Okay. That's weird. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and close this like that. Doesn't want to close. Oh, because it's still attached. I didn't want to delete the hidden. Let's bring that back. Split the hidden, right? Okay. And delete edge. Okay, so that's the middle part, and then it should have had the legs over here. Do I have another copy of them? I do. All right, I'm going to delete this one. I don't need it. And bring this one in. And again, I'm just going to close this over here. So same story, close. And delete. Okay, so now I just have the legs that are going to move separately like this, and then this middle part's going to move separately. So here I can just use smooth to just kind of separate out the legs from that middle part. Okay, and this definitely needs to be bigger. And even though I'm just kind of working here, there's a lot that goes on in my head as far as, a lot of the principles of 3D or of design, and also just, principles of design. So, this should be bigger on the top than the bottom. And these are a lot of things that people just don't know about. So, they think that if they learn the software, they can do the work, but they can't, because you actually have to. I mean, same thing with AI. Like, just because you have AI doesn't mean, you can write a few prompts, or you can use a node graph. It doesn't mean that you're an artist. So here I'm just using the move tool, or move brush, sorry, to get a base of sorts. Let's see. Some amusement park rides, they have 3D with moving sides, seats, water effects, and smells. Yeah. I mean, immersion is really important, but it's like you have to have something that kind of puts you in that space. And I mean, the whole point of everything that we're saying here is that people want things to people want to have experiences they would not have otherwise. So movies allowed you to do that visually, yeah, but people want more immersion. Games do that. I mean, there's certain games that I play that I completely forget that I'm playing a game, and I totally feel like I'm in that world. So, but including smells and including all sorts of effects would definitely help. Kind of get you to think you're in that world, to suspend your disbelief, so to speak. God, I haven't been to an amusement park in ages. I didn't even go to the Star Wars stuff here in Disneyland. I should have, but I think a lot of the stuff that was happening at the time, it was becoming a thing where I think COVID and all that stuff just completely messed me up. Should the top be bigger than the bottom? Okay, are you talking about this part right here, or yeah, I mean, or are you talking about this part and this part, or are you talking about this part and this whole bottom part? Because this bottom part hasn't been hashed out yet. It definitely, I mean, it definitely has to look like it is going to support what's up there. It definitely needs to look like it will be able to support what's up here. But if you look at like a bird, the top part of the bird is bigger than the legs. Like if you look at a ostrich, or if you look at a flamingo or something like that, they have really thin legs that are supporting a bigger body. Right? So the movement of this thing would be more like an ostrich than a than a person, right? And again, I haven't really figured out the final form of the legs yet. I mean, these could be it. I'm kind of experimenting now with different ideas. Don't want it to be close. Because, I mean, if you really look at, oh, you imagined that, oh, so without the legs, like it was just a flying thing with guns on it. I mean, yeah, that's an interesting thought. But I guess this would be a good time to do my PSA. So if you go to my website, and the reason why I'm going to do this is I just want to show this mech. So here's one that I made, but this had a very specific design choice. So you can see there's the part up top, and then you see kind of the leg structure. And the reason why I did it this way is because the legs would be like this when it's walking. So first of all, this thing was going to be in a low gravity setting. So this would be like on Mars or some other planet which does not have an oxygen shield protecting it from meteors. So if like scientists land somewhere and they build a base, chances are that it's going to get hit by a meteor. And if it does, then these mechs would be protecting it. So it has thin legs. It would walk around on these thin legs. And then once it wants to start firing, it would just open up the legs into this kind of formation, and then it would fire away. So here's some other images of it, right? So this was one that I made completely in ZBrush. And you can see kind of how the top is being counterbalanced by the legs. And I also decided to give this thing another piece over here, oops, that basically would be in between the legs and so I gave it hips, basically. Here's some surface studies. Here's the radar up close. All this is done in ZBrush. Okay, so this is my website, Kermaco.com. You can go see some of the stuff I've done there. As you can see, I've done quite a few mechs. There's one more that I did in a ZBrush stream that I haven't kind of gotten back to, and I should do some renders of it. But I did, this was the first one I did. And then I did this one. So this one had a little bit of Maya in it. This one had no Maya in it. This was all 100% ZBrush. So this mech right here was 100% ZBrush. Here's kind of the NPR non-photorealistic render of it. They have quite a few renders of this in all sorts of settings. So there's that. And then I did this one for my tutorial, which you can see for free now on my YouTube channel. So here's my YouTube channel. And if you go to playlists, this thing that you actually had to pay at Gnomon Workshop to watch now is available for free here. And it's a bunch of videos. And if you click on it, the whole playlist is over here, so you can watch it. And this is kind of a mech that I made that basically had multiple legs. So didn't mean to close that. Yep. So here's that one, which basically seats people. So here's kind of the seating of it and all the different details. And this is another one I kind of want to revisit to do some renders on at some point. But yeah, so I've done quite a few mechs, most of them done in ZBrush. This one is mostly done in ZBrush, and this one, a little bit of Maya, but mostly ZBrush, all ZBrush, and all ZBrush. Okay, so the thing to do is follow me on Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram here, I have a link tree that basically links you to all of my different websites. So here's my portfolio, here's my Gnomon workshops, my Gumroad, my Instagram, which led you here, I guess. My ArtStation, YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff is here. I even have a Blue Sky account and a Twitter account. So I don't check my Twitter account at all. So there's that. So definitely go to my Instagram and follow me. If you follow me here, then you basically will always know how to go to my link tree. And yeah, so I'm at 2343 followers. So 343. I don't know if that's like a thing that will make me work for Halo Studios, but yeah, I'd like to get this up to 2,500 by the end of the year if I can. All this is organic. So I'm hoping I can get there. So yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram if you can. Yeah, the swords are nice. Yeah. Where do I do my renders? So these swords are all rendered in ZBrush without Redshift. So these are just pure ZBrush renders, 100% rendered in ZBrush. Here's another one. I've got a few renders of this one, all rendered 100% in ZBrush, and no post-processing, nothing. This is like right out of ZBrush. Using some filters in ZBrush, but it is all ZBrush rendered. So here's this one. Again, all just ZBrush rendered using matte caps and whatnot. So there's that. Yeah, and also, oddly enough, these are ZBrush rendered as well, directly in ZBrush. And not using Redshift, just ZBrush. Like, you could do these renders in 2022. I mean, obviously this one I overlaid some text in Photoshop afterwards, but again, the render is in ZBrush. Here's another one. These are all done in complete ZBrush renders, like old school ZBrush renders. This is going to blow you guys away. These ones are fully rendered in ZBrush as well. You'd think this was rendered in Keyshot or something. No, these are like ZBrush renders right out of ZBrush. I think this one, yeah, all of them. So you can get some really good results just rendering in ZBrush. And if you want to go further, and here's another one, again, just rendered in ZBrush, not using any other tool, not even doing any stacking of photos or anything like that. Just one button, like render BPR, and this is what I get. And then I just tweak the filters just a little bit and get the results that I want. So yeah. ZBrush is amazing on its own, and you can do these in 2022. I mean, you don't have to get the new version. And I don't tend to use the Redshift in ZBrush just because it's kind of tedious without having real lights and materials. But every once in a while, I definitely do try to do the renders in there. But I think that shooting it out to Cinema 4D or something like that, like this was done in Cinema 4D. So I rendered this in Cinema 4D, and the render came out really nice. So I think that's kind of the, here's one also rendered in Cinema 4D. And these renders come out really nice as well. So yeah, but I tend to want to stick to ZBrush as much as I can, but sometimes I do go out to other programs. Now I can just render in with iRay and Substance Painter, and those come out pretty good. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm working on that I'm not ready to show yet that have been done in that. So yeah, definitely go to my Instagram. Definitely follow me on Instagram. Definitely check out my Linktree and check out my work. This is my Gnomon workshop. I've got one left there, which is this 3D scan and retopology for production, which is doing photogrammetry, photographing of somebody and getting a digital double out of it. And last but not least, I've got a Gumroad. I have a free IMM brush, Primitives IMM brush that you can download. And this has been downloaded well over 1,000 times, which is great. You can get my UI colors as well, and these are both free. I do have a paid-for version of the primitives, which just give you about I think a few more pieces. And if you wonder what those are, you can just go and see them over here. I've got a slide just on these pieces. So if you feel like you need these pieces as well, it's $5. It's not really that much. So you can pick that one up. But I also do have two pro brushes, IMM brushes. One is cylindrical set and one is loops and rings. And I have a few that I'm still working on as well that will be coming out shortly. I think the next one will be spheres, spherical shapes. And then after that, I will have another one as well. All right, so much for that. Let's get back to our mech. Yeah, Marmoset Toolbag is great. I don't have the new version. So I use the older version still, but the new version is neat. And yeah, rendering in Marmoset is good too. Would I ever do a live stream of making a sword? I think I have done that. But you know what? You can probably see me doing that in my, well, more PSA stuff. I also do have a YouTube channel, by the way. And let me go to it real quick. Right, in my YouTube channel, I'm also doing this dragon, which is kind of more, I'm know, it's funny. I do hard surface stuff, but I also do organic stuff as well. And I'm doing a dragon here, and I think in one of these dragon ones, I am doing a sword. So you can see it there. Yeah, here we go. I think this one, if you watch this one, I'm making the sword in this one, right? So here, I'll add a link to it so you guys can go watch it. But if you guys want me to do a live stream on that, I could. Sure. I think that would be a good one to do, just to kind of show a pathway to Substance Painter, because you could get some really neat renders from Substance Painter, and the sword is pretty simple to UV and make. So yeah, I would consider doing it. But yeah, I think those swords are made there, and you know, so I kind of, you know, for most of my personal stuff, I want to try and see if I can use streaming to get it out there so people can know how I made it. Not something too many designers and artists do, unfortunately, just because I think they worry. I mean, I've seen like really prominent people be very concerned about doing things live because, you know, it takes them a long time to do it or whatever, and they don't want people watching over their shoulders. But for as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Sometimes people complain that things take too long for me to do, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so here I'm going to do something where it's going to make life a little bit easier for me. So I'm going to delete by symmetry, and this is available in under geometry. So if you go under geometry here, under tool and geometry, there's a delete by symmetry option, which gets rid of half of the model. Where is it? I want to say it's under modify topology. Yeah, here it is, right here. Delete by symmetry, and you can just delete it. And what I'm going to do is, but I still want to see the other side, so I'm going to use array mesh to do it. So I'm going to go in here, turn array mesh on, keep it at 2, and I forget what I do here. Do I do y minus 100? I think that's too much. I don't think it's y. I think it's x minus 100. Let's see. So this way, now that way. Okay, so here, it's either going in this direction or this direction, but I want it to mirror. I think there's a way to do it. I think it's, oh, here are the buttons for it. X mirror. Okay, but I want the amount. I wonder if there's a way to just have it be exactly on the center line. Let's try 2.5. Let's try 3. Too much. 2.7. That's good enough. Right, so now it's basically just mirroring what I do. So if I make a change here, it's just going to make it on the other side. But the reason why I like working this way is I can do things like I can just clip this. Oh, is it still doing that? I guess it is. It shouldn't be doing both sides. It should just be doing the one side. Huh. All right, well, I guess, is there a setting or something I didn't do over here? Lock position, lock size is one of those. Well, I'm actually going to not do it this way. I'll just, it's simple enough to be able to just mirror and weld it. Okay, it's still doing that. Oh, that's why this was happening. Okay, so this should work. I just had symmetry activated and it just didn't know what it was doing. Okay, yes, this does work. And I thought it did. I didn't know why it wasn't working this time around, but I had activate symmetry on. So it was doing things on both sides, which I didn't want it to do. If I did have it without the array mesh, then, you know, symmetry would be good. But here I can just do things like just, you know, do this kind of mid cut and it would not affect the other side. It kind of does in a way because it does bring it closer. So I just still have to change this amount back to 3, maybe 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. see, like once I start kind of going this way, it just pushes it out, and I don't want it to, and I don't, just will do this enough so it doesn't. All right. Are we doing on time? Okay, good. We're doing good on time. Kind of happy with the progress I've made so far. All right. I don't know if, I don't know if it makes sense to have the legs be this long. So I'm going to try and see like what I can do here. What makes... And it's always good to kind of, check the mechanicality, if that's even a word, of the mech. So here what I'm going to do is mirror and weld this. So I actually have a mirror on the other side. I can always delete by symmetry again. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to test out, I'm going to test out, like how, masked. Test out like how this would be kind of, just need to mask half of it. Okay, and then I can test out like, this would be, how would we do, what would walk? So this would be kind of the one leg going backwards, and then, this would be the one leg going forwards, right? So I just basically need to see the clearance of these, right? So they don't hit the other part, right? So this would be kind of it walking or running. Right, so it's always good to check those things when you're working on mechanical parts. You just want to see, if things are moving the way they should be moving. Turn symmetry on here. Actually, I don't need to turn symmetry on. I'm just going to delete by symmetry again and just work on one side. All right, so now the other kind of division I need to make is I'm going to take this part and split the hidden parts. So this bottom part is going to be a different piece, right? And so the question is, do I want this all to be one piece, or do I want this front part to move independently? And that's another thing I can test out here. So I wish there was a way to do hierarchy in here, but there really isn't. So I'd have to, yeah, I think I am going to have them be separate. So again, here I'm just going to close this hole over here. By the way, I could either do it this way with ZModeler, or I can also do it with close holes, which is in, where is it? It's in Tool Geometry Close Holes, so I could do it that way as well. So same kind of thing. And I'm going to leave this middle edge in here. I'm not going to really care about it. But let's go ahead and start working on this thing on its own. Right, so there's probably going to be some sort of a pivot in, or a piston or something in here that's going to work to rotate this around. And then here I'll choose this one. Oops, wrong brush. And I'm just going to do the close hole here for this as well. Okay. Okay. I want this part to go out a bit more. Again, just working with really as low amounts of geometry as possible so you can kind of make the bold changes. And then once you're happy with those, you can start adding more detail, or, fleshing it out more, I guess. All right. So here's something that I kind of wish that, there was a way to simplify this, but there isn't. And there's like some weird edge looping happening here, but let's see if I can get rid of it. Okay, so here's another really interesting situation. There's different ways to fix this. I think the easiest way is to just use ZModeler and stitch 2 points to endpoints. So stitch this here, like that, and like that. But there's other ways of doing it too. You could have yeah, you definitely don't want that kind of geometry collapsing on itself. You just want to keep things as and I'm sure there's a word for it, but keep things as much as viable as possible, I guess. Yeah, the swords are really easy to make. I mean, super, super easy to make in ZBrush. I almost feel like doing a quick tangent and making one, but I'm going to stick to this. One of the things I worry about is that a lot of entertainment nowadays, the driver is money. It's not creativity. It's just, return on investment. And that always worries me because it's, I think that is in direct conflict with creativity. And when you are sacrificing creativity for profit, then it's kind of a spiral, a doom spiral. And I see that. I see that in artists too. Like I see artists just kind of selling out right, left, and center. I mean, if you got bills to pay, having scruples is secondary. And I think scruples is the wrong word. I think having principles. All right, so this is getting a little bit thicker than I'd like, but I am getting some really cool shapes with it. Again, let's press D to see. It's always good to press D just to kind of get an idea of the smooth version of it. Let's go this again. Notice how this is just such a simple part, right? So maybe I'll add a few edge loops here, just give me some room to play. But again, I just want to keep it as simple as possible. All right, so again, it's always good to just really quickly do a mirror and weld. And I'll do one on this one too, just to kind of get an idea of what this is looking like. And I really like what it's looking like. I think it's definitely coming together. So here, you've got a huge thing and you've got these thin legs. Like, how do you balance it out. So one way of doing it is you just flatten it out like this, and then you also create a back part. I'll just do that. So if you look at the feet of birds, for example, they kind of can guide you. What's the other thing that you need to know is you need to understand anatomy, and not just anatomy of human beings, but just anatomy in general. When you're doing design, I think, again, it's just people generate these images with AI and they just don't look right. And they don't look right because the anatomy is wrong. And again, if you look at business, for example, like if they make fast food, they make fast food to taste good. They don't make it to be healthy. They make it to taste good, so you would come back and eat it. And then once they make it tasty, then they want to increase the profit by supersizing, or increasing the amount of money you would spend once you put your once you're inside of the fast food restaurant. Well, it's not really. I mean, it might be fun for a minute or two, but the health ramifications are horrible. And I worry that similar things are going to happen with the entertainment industry, where they're just going to make things that are, derivative of previous movies. And so now you can kind of tell, okay, well, this is kind of, this could stand. Like if I just 3D printed this thing, assuming that it's connected, it could stand. Although now this part looks really small. So yeah. And what's funny is like the new generation of movies that are doing really well, like Backrooms and whatnot. I mean, all these artists, all these directors are not using AI, which is interesting, right? Like you'd think it's new technology. The younger artists would be using more of that technology, but the younger generations want nothing to do with AI. They're really opposed to it, which is very unique. Like usually it's the other way around. And it's funny because the only people that are really excited about AI are management, and the only reason why they're excited about it is because, they're measured on how much the company is making money on shareholder value, and to them, getting rid of people is the biggest way to make more money. So they're for AI in a big way. And what's kind of funny is like when you hear me talk, you think like, oh, this guy's against AI, and I'm not. I love AI. I think it's really cool. I just think you know it's like car technology, right? I mean, cars are really neat, but if we don't have red lights, and we don't have seat belts, and we don't have rules, and we don't have a certification process of getting a driver's license, I think the roads would be really dangerous. It would be dangerous, a place for humans to live, if the roads were, full of people that didn't follow the rules. So, I think it's a good idea to kind of have some sort of guidelines for AI and some sort of governing body. And right now there isn't one because everybody just is like racing to be the first to reach, whatever they think they're going to reach. So the guardrails are completely off, and it's kind of dangerous. I mean, the best thing you can do is hope it doesn't destroy things. But if it does, if it destroys things we can't get back, it's not going to be fun for anybody. Like, how would you like to be the CEO or a leader, you know, whose decision causes mass, you know, chaos or mass destruction or mass whatever deaths or unemployment or something that is basically going to be attributed to you in your legacy as the person who brought that forward. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a very kind of delicate dance between wanting to be relevant and you know, and being competitive and relevant, and also, you know, being responsible. Okay, this is coming together. I'm really liking how this is gonna work for me. The kind of the silhouette is working for me really well, and I'm going to turn transparency off so I can see it. I'm going to make this bigger and check the silhouette from different angles. The side looks really, really good, although this is a tad too big. So you can kind of see that here. And so I'm just going to make this a little bit slimmer. And I can see the results directly here in the silhouette. And this is another really cool thing I like about ZBrush, is that you have the silhouette on all the time. And now I'm basically seeing that the silhouette is going to work. These legs have become pretty chunky, but I think they still work well. All right, so at this point, what I do is I'd like to add kind of the pieces that are going to be the axes that these are going to move on, right? So I'm going to use my IMM brush. Here it is. And then I'm just going to go ahead and insert a few insert mesh, and let's add a few poly meshes. I'm going to add a bunch. I'll just add 3 for now. And where did they go? What the heck happened there? Why did it insert in the same tool? That's weird. Okay. Did it insert all 3? It did insert all 3 of them, didn't it? Delete hidden. And why is it doing that? That's very strange. Okay, insert. Polymesh 3D. Should add it. Okay, yeah, now it's working. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what I did to do that. It's kind of interesting. I'd like to find out. I'll probably watch this video and figure out what happened. So I'm going to hide these 2, bring everything back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use one of my cylinders in here. I'll just use the simplest one. And notice that the gizmo is usually at the center. I mean, no, not at the center, but at the edge, because it's an insert mesh, right? So if I was inserting this on a surface, I'd want that to happen. You know, I want it to just insert on the surface and not be protruding the surface. And that's why I have it that way. All right, so this can go over here like this. Okay, so these legs are basically going to rotate around that. That gives me that indication. And then I'm going to bring out this one. Same thing, press W for move, and then just choose the cylindrical brush. Yeah, so see here, notice how this is at the bottom of this, and that's because if I insert it, that's where the base of the insert is going to be. But in this case, I want to center it because I want to, we'll see in a minute. I'm just going to let it autosave. The movie has a great story and characters, and people love it. But then later it's discovered it was done with AI. It's still a great story regardless. That yet remains to be seen. But yeah, I mean, people don't go to a movie because it's made with CG, because of the CGI. I mean, people thought that. They thought that, oh, people are going to go see movies because of the CGI, but that's not the case. A good movie is a good movie regardless of what technology it uses. And yeah, if it uses AI and it works, sure. I think that'll be great. I mean, if you watch the movie Flow, Flow is a movie about a cat, I think, and let me see if I can find it. And it was completely made in Blender, and it's a beautiful movie. I mean, the images are beautiful, and And you know, the story's really good, the animation is really good. It's just a really, really good movie, right? Like, okay, so if somebody can make something like that with AI, yeah, sure, you know, why not? But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good movie because it was done with Blender, and it wasn't a good movie because it was done using CG, or it was a CG movie. It just was a really good, like, it made you feel like if you were a cat owner, you'd know exactly what's going on. You would know, like, okay, this cat's doing things that my cat does, and it's a great story, and it was all done in Blender, and it was done really well. So yeah, I will agree with you on that one. That if if somebody can make a compelling movie using AI, yeah, sure. I mean, right now all I see is slop and more slop and more slop. You know, I mean, I see these stupid videos that are like just meme videos, and I mean, and I don't know if that's going to be the new form. Like, if people are just going to not want to watch long movies, they just want to, get a quick dopa hit with a meme. And if AI is good at generating those, it'll be the tool of choice, and that's fine. I mean, people still do stop motion animation movies, and they're great, and so I'm sure that there will be a place for what I'm doing. Maybe not the mainstream, but still. I mean, I've seen mechs that AI designs; they're horrible, just horrible. But a layman doesn't know the difference. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is cool," whatever. I mean, if you're going to hire an interior designer, you're going to listen to their advice about interior design. That's why people hire them. And wealthy people hire them too, because, they know that they don't really have the taste or the ability to design their interior. So even if somebody is going to make something with AI, they're going to need somebody to tell them if it's working or not. If they're going to go by their opinion, then great. I can imagine a scenario where the studio head is basically the does all the work, right? The studio head is the only person that works on the movie, so they do they do all of the things, and then it's their movie, right? Like, the studio head makes that movie, and maybe some people work on it or whatever, but they're just irrelevant. They don't matter. It's just the studio head is the person who makes the movie, and and that person is kind of the is all the kudos go to that person. He gets the Oscar for directing. He gets the Oscar um, for cinematography. He gets the Oscar for acting. He gets all the Oscars. He just uses AI. Yeah, I mean, AI is showing up. It showed up in a movie in Cannes lately, I think, or the Cannes Film Festival, and people were up at arms about that. People are really kind of hating on A24 because they said they're going to use AI. People are hating on Marty Scorsese because he said he's going to use AI. But I mean, I can see why these people want to try it out. It definitely sounds compelling. And if they have a stock portfolio, a lot of their money's tied in AI. So yeah, they're going to do it, sure. But who knows? There will be a Jurassic Park moment where Jurassic Park kind of put CG on the map of movie making, and maybe there'll be an AI version of that at some point. Who knows? The other thing is the financial feasibility of AI is kind of interesting. I don't know why I always keep talking about AI. It's a topic of du jour, but and I kind of don't want to, but don't have a choice. But another thing that's interesting is the financial feasibility of AI. Like, I don't know what the money is going to be, the currency, and if it is computing power, or if it is the LLM and the model. I mean, if there is a Chinese model that costs, I don't know, even 70% of what the US model costs, I think people will go to that. It just depends on, what the results are. So the financial viability of it is up in the air right now. Nobody's figured out how to really make money with it. All these companies that are AI companies are all incubators losing money like a lot of money, like crazy amounts of money right now. So at some point, investors are going to want a return on their investment, and if they're not getting their return on investment, they're going to pull their money and put it in something else. So who knows? Yeah, well, I think that's kind of why AI companies are pushing to have Scorsese do that. So yeah, I think a lot of people would like to see that. If I were a betting man, I would bet against it, but you never know. True. So I'm reading what Comics Legends is saying. He says that he thinks the reason we are seeing a lot of slop is because there aren't experienced, the people aren't experienced in filmmaking. I tend to agree with that. However, it's interesting to see that people who are experienced in filmmaking, if they're going to get the results that they want. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen that Coca-Cola ad where the people are just prompting and not getting what they want. So let's say Marty Scorsese is all excited about AI. He wants to use it. It's a new technology. There's promises that he's going to be able to make movies cheaper, faster, whatever, right? So he does it. He does have he's made great movies, so he knows how to make great movies. So let's say he does do that, right? And so then the question is, what if he's not getting what he wants? What if what he's getting is like, what if he discovers, okay, I could probably tell somebody to do something and they'll do it a lot faster than, doing 100 iterations with AI that are going to take forever and cost a lot of money and not get exactly what he wants. So, I mean, AI has been used for de-aging. I can see that happening. But using like AI actors and AI sets and this, that, and the other, it remains to be seen whether it's viable or if it's just a pipe dream. But yeah, I mean, we'll know soon enough. I think I'd say I'd give it a window of maybe 2 or 3 years, and I'm being generous here. In 2 or 3 years, we'll know. But the time where people are going to start wanting their return on investment is coming up pretty quick here, because this thing's been in the tumbling around for a while. So I think people are going to want to see results. All right, so I have the pivot point over here. I have the pivot point over here. I need one more. I think I added one more star. Yep. Going to my kit here, going to the cylinder, press W for move, going to the cylinder. Okay, sometimes if it comes up and you don't see the cylinder, it's because the size is wrong. So if you just unify it, there it is. And then you can just move this and move it to where you want it to go. So there's going to be one more. And putting these things in place definitely helps, because that's kind of how, the mech is going to rotate around these things. So it's, I mean, these are placeholders, but eventually they will be integrated into the design of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm getting pretty close to having this look the way I want. Now, one thing that I don't like is I don't like the bottom part being so big. And I want it to, I want them to be smaller. So I'm going to use the pizza boxes here and select all these bottom parts and make them smaller. And this is kind of another thing that is really powerful in ZBrush, is that you can do these kinds of changes. Like if you're drawing this or whatever and you weren't happy with what you were getting, then you have to start over. But with ZBrush here, I can just completely, reproportion what I'm working on, and it really helps me with my design. Okay. Here I want to do one more of these, but I actually want to exclude the cylinder. And just raise this up. Okay, so this is kind of looking much like exactly what I want it to look like. And even at this kind of simple state, I am, I kind of can, at this point, I'm starting to visualize the final mech. Like at this point, I'm I'm pretty confident that this is going to be a good design, and I'm pretty confident of this actually working. So, this is a really good point to arrive to. And if I was working on a project, this is where I would show, the art director or the director, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Is this working for you? And if he says yes, then all I need to do is just polish this, which is basically a very, that's what you'll be seeing me do in the next few streams, is just kind of taking all these pieces and polishing them up, and then using various techniques in ZBrush to get it to the point that I want. Okay, so a lot of movies are done in editing. Yeah, editing is good. And also, I mean, I've seen some really cool stuff with editing using AI. So yeah, who knows? I mean, it will definitely be, finding its way into all the different tools, and it will definitely help with different ways. But again, like, I mean, when CGI came into the world, people were like, oh, well, you need to know how to do all these other things. Otherwise, you're not going to be good at CGI. And that was true. So I think that same thing will be, the same for AI. It's like, you need to know what you're doing. AI isn't just going to do it for you. Where'd that Sandra go? Okay. Like, I think some people think, oh, I'm just going to type a prompt and it's going to make a movie. Like, make, Godfather 4. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, AI, go watch Godfathers 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 being great, 3 not being, 3 is also great, but critically it's not acclaimed. So I want, Godfather 4 to be more like Godfathers 1 and 2, and just go make that for me, like, just do it. Edit it, light it, put the actors in it, figure it out. Like, I think people think that that's what's going to happen, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. I mean, it'd be interesting if it does, but I don't think so. All right, so here what I'm testing out is sometimes it's good to have this kind of go down further. And I'm trying to see if that helps the design, and I think it kind of does. All right, so I like the silhouette. I'm really happy with what I got so far. I definitely do think that I just need to keep polishing these pieces until I get what I want. Another thing I could also do here, which I might do now before I end the stream, is create another leg. And the way I'm going to do that is just pull it out of here like this. Unreal showed some really interesting AI stuff with Unreal Engine, which is kind of neat, like the way they make the city and light it and everything like that. But again, those demos look impressive because they're supposed to look impressive, but it's going to be interesting to see an actual studio trying to make a game with that setting, and if it will be a compelling game. Like, I don't think, somebody's going to come out and make GTA 6 before GTA 6 comes out using that technology alone. I think there's a lot of other things that need to be in place. But yeah, but that was kind of cool. Like, I mean, I was like, yeah, you just draw the city and populate it with houses, buildings from an existing library or whatever, which is great. But then if somebody else wants to do one, is it going to look the same, or is there enough variety? So, all these are huge questions that need to be answered. And we'll be getting those answers at some point. In the meantime, I'll just kind of keep making sure I keep on top of everything that's coming out and see whether or not it works in my pipeline or not. Because honestly, if I was going to be doing what I'm doing right now with prompts, I don't know if I would do it. It's just, I wouldn't want to work that way. I still like manually manipulating things. And I'm manipulating a lot of shapes and a lot of things just by using, the techniques I'm using. So I don't know if I would want to go back and type in something every time I want to make a change. It just won't work. And I mean, like a lot of friends I know like Houdini and use Houdini, and I never really, took to it because, I mean, I like nodes. I use it in Gaia or whatever, some applications I use in Embergen and whatnot. But, like just every time I watch Houdini artists work, it just looks like they're just connecting nodes and, working on variables, writing code and this, that, and the other. And that's just not how I want to work. So I'd rather stick to what I'm doing. All right, I'm just kind of refining the foot here a bit more. Again, making sure that this thing can stand. And I don't know if this is going to be the final layout. I'm just getting more kind of, grounding on the mech that is going to be on top, because I mean, this thing is going to be pretty heavy. It's got 4 guns, probably a ton of ammo, some people in there, maybe 2 or 3, maybe just 1. And then it's got the engine that's going to be rotating this. It's got the engine that's going to be rotating this. So there's a lot of things that are going to make the top heavy. So there needs to be enough support on the bottom to do it. But another thing to look at is if you look at like some of these prosthetic legs that are there for people that don't have legs, you can see that, they're pretty thin. They don't have to be as thick as a human leg, just because it doesn't have the muscles and all the other things in it. So I just added another kind of kink here, but I think it's better when it fits straight. I'm going to leave the edge loop there, but I'm not going to tweak it right now. It's better if I move this back or forward. No, definitely not forward. Move it back. Again, here I'm just testing this out to see if it looks better. I kind of think it does. Here, I'm going to create a morph target here so I can go back to this and then just move it back. And then I could always go to, adjusting. This is kind of a neat trick too, by the way. Here, we'll do another one of these Kermaco power tips. And that is that if you kind of want to, you're working on something like this and you have a shape like that, you can just store a morph target, right? And after you store the morph target, you can just move it to something new. And again, I'm doing this with very little geometry. So let's say I move it to something like this, and I can exaggerate it. And then I can just use the morph slider here to go back and forth and even exaggerate it even more to just kind of find something that looks better. And again, I'm looking at my silhouette over here and I'm moving my morph back and forth and just to see if it looks better. And I think something like this works out good. All right, so I think we're kind of getting more towards the end here. So I know there's a little bit of a delay between what I show and what you guys see. So I'll just ask if you have any questions. This would be a good time to ask them, last minute questions. And otherwise, we will reconvene again in a couple of weeks. On Friday, it will be in July. I'm sure it'll be really hot over here. Anybody watching from Europe? I hear it's super, super hot there right now. Especially in Paris. I don't know what's going on here. Look at this mess. Right. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just, maybe I'll just fix it. Smooth brush did it right there. Okay. All right. And then the other thing I also want to do is I want to bow these out a bit. Too much. In. Nope. Definitely out. Just a tiny bit. All right, I think we're good. I think we definitely kind of refined this top part to what I want it to be, and I like it a lot. And then we built all the other pieces, and then next we're just going to refine these and get them to work better. All right, I'm going to end a little bit early today, but thanks for those of you that stuck around and watched the whole thing. And I really appreciate you watching me live. I really do. It definitely makes the experience better. Some good interactions, some good kind of ideas floating around. And if you want to see this again, it'll be on YouTube forever, I guess, or until the servers go down. And then, yeah, I'll be on in 2 weeks. So thanks for watching. I don't see any questions. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, this is all right. Thanks. Yeah, definitely do. And I do use ZBrush for hard surface a lot. I'm one of the few artists that I shouldn't say a few. There's quite a few, but I use ZBrush for hard surface. A lot of people mostly use ZBrush for organic stuff, which makes sense. It's more geared towards that, but there are a lot of hard surface features in it, and the product managers push that, which is great. So yeah, I mean, it'll be great if you can watch next Control Z. If you can watch it again next time, that'd be great. Again, it's next Friday, same time, 7 to 9 LA time, and you can see it on the schedule. So if you just look for ZBrush Live and schedule, it'll show you when I'm on. And I try to project months ahead. So usually they update that every month, so you guys can see it. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Happy ZBrushing, everybody, and hope you have a great day or night or whatever time of day it is where you are. And yeah, see you soon.